Okay. It's marked hands.
Marked hands. Marked
All right.
hands.
All right. So we have aces. And I gotta, oh, I have to hit him. I have to. There. Now I should be unmuted, right? You can hear me? Good.
We can hear you, sir.
Good. Now I'm here. Okay, here we go. So we get raised from early position. We're gonna kind of call, so we're definitely three betting. We're gonna three bet to 12, 14, 14 and a half-ish, something like that. We go to 12. Okay. Get called by the initial player. 5-9-4. We've seen this hand before. I recognize this hand. So we don't need to see this one again. He's got pocket fives. Check bet call. Check bet call. Then he bets out. And
Oh, I remember this
it's
hand,
like,
yeah.
do you call here? Yeah, do you call here? And we did the pocket five. So I think I forgot. I think what happened was I forgot to unmark this hand. So
No worries.
here's a different one. All right, there's dead money in the pot already. So that's what makes his raise extra big. Then we get called. I don't think we can fold this. I think we have to squeeze and sometimes we call.
Yeah, this is a weird spot. I would say if
It's a
there's
weird
any
spot.
hand that I flat out of position here, other than if I'm feeling risky with pocket pairs that I want to set mine, it's this one.
Yeah, the weird thing is the pot's inflated because of that pot, because of the poster. And does that make villain 14's rage stronger? Does he go tighter or looser when he sees the dead money? No, he
I
has
go
to go
looser,
bigger. All right, then our squeeze is even better.
but I don't know. I mean, yeah, it depends on the person. I mean, he's a good player because I think he's using an appropriate size
Yeah.
when there's dead money out there. So I think we can already say he's a good rig.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little bit too much, but
So we squeeze, he goes to 12. So let's see if our squeeze is right. 12, 16 plus 1 is 20. It's actually a little small, it's 22. So there you go.
Yeah, Scotty, I was listening to
Yeah.
some guys talk about a spot like this, and
Yeah.
it's very hard to go too big. Like it's you can go big here
Right.
and feel okay doing it. And I know 20 feels big, like but I think you could probably go to 25
Yeah.
without any trouble. Because you don't like
Yeah.
it's a very good result for this hand not to proceed past pre-flop.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So it should have been, it should have been 22 at least. And it could have been 25 easily. Okay. So that's bad. And with two players. Any suggestions other than try not to let it show in your face what you really feel?
well, you're representing a very strong range. You have two back doors. This is a really tough spot, man.
Yeah, if I bet it's another 20, my minimum bet here is gonna, for me, is gonna be 15 to 20.
SPR is really
25.
awkward.
Yeah, yeah. I go for the check.
I think check is fine.
Yeah.
Now,
Checks
now I
around.
think when it checks around, now you got to be ready for go time.
Yep. Oh, go time. They can get there. So I guess is it a jam?
Yeah, like I think jam can't be that bad, right?
Yeah,
Like because he doesn't have much. Like he's not gonna have two pair here, like you wouldn't think,
yeah.
unless it's like 8-10, which is kind of sick and gross. I think jam is fine because like
So
this sizing here, like
this is the pot, is what it is.
yeah, I mean you're gonna call for the rest of this anyways if he puts it in on
Yep,
you, right?
yep,
So
I
like
am. So I might as well jam.
yeah, I think that's your rule actually.
Yeah, I should jam it. Yep. And now I have to call.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of
Got
hand you
it.
could.
Oh,
Tough
even
spot.
getting there. Yeah. All right. And I'll do one. This is a different ace ace. Or is this the same ace ace? No, this is the same ace ace. It's down. Here's a different ace ace. All right.
This is interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna squeeze again. We're
I would-
squeeze to 9, 12, 13 and a half. So this would be 16 and a half. Be it's natural bet, 16 and a half. And, oh, by the way, he has pocket queens. I didn't need to click that, but he does. All right, so we're gonna go to 14 instead of 16 and a half. Not very wrong.
No, all right, so you're making a premium discount here essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course,
Oh, I don't,
right, so I guess here's the question. Get the 139 out or keep 139 in? That's the question. Did we?
I think we talked about this one, but
Yeah,
I
I think we
think,
did. I think we've seen all these hands and we just didn't mark them. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
and
think,
this
I
guy
don't think
has-
it, I don't think, I don't. It kind of stinks to have a dry side pot out of position.
Yeah,
So I think I do like a small raise. Like you could, like a, something that makes sure there's money in the side pot might be, it's probably not a thing in theory, but
except you can't make a small raise is the problem. That is the smallest raise you could do.
yeah, is that the min click there? Yeah, you did min
Yeah,
click
it's a
it.
min click.
So
And clicked it.
yeah, I mean, I think that's about as good as you can do. I mean, I don't think, 'cause I really don't think you want to flat and give him a goodish price. And then you have a hard time playing out of position with this dry side. That's like, I don't know.
Now,
It's
what is it about the dry side that makes it hard?
I guess there's just like, you only have equity against him. And so it's, I guess you can be value betting with your aces, but I feel like you need a stronger hand. Like, I mean, it feels like you just need a stronger hand to win because now there's more people playing and the guy that you are betting against has less incentive to pour money into the pot.
All right.
I don't know. I think the
Yeah, we
dry
talked
sides are
about-
tough situations.
Okay, and I'm gonna give up the control because we've seen all four of these hands and I just didn't mark that we saw them. We talked about this one already. All right,
Okay. He's got hands.
Well, I've got a bunch, you know me, but I'm giving somebody else a chance.
Sure, I can get one in here. I don't know. I'm just trying to look through my hands. I don't know that I have any one in particular that I love, but I got a couple that I marked for one reason or another, I guess. So here, I'll share one. I don't remember this particular hand, but I'll put it up here. Can you guys see it?
See it.
Oh, sorry. I guess I got a little ahead of myself, but all right. So we're playing four-handed. This is 50-cent dollar Poker Bros game. Pretty familiar with all of these guys. Clear open here. We get called by small blind, which really isn't a thing, but this guy is oh yeah. Cheetah Piss is back. Yeah, Cheetah Piss plays a lot. Cheetah Piss plays a lot. And he is like he's got some absurdly high like VPIP, like 55 or something like that. So he calls, we get this flop. And he's on broken stack here of 60. And this is just like my default here, which seemed like pretty no-brainer-ish. We get called, which is fine. And then we banked here. And I think question here is about the bet size I want to use in this spot. Any thoughts about what you want to do here with your bet size?
Any thought about checking back this particular combo?
On flop or turn?
Turn.
I have zero thoughts of checking this hand back because I want to get the money in.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if we ever wanted to kind of considering this jack to pot ratio is pretty low, with him, I thought maybe we could get away with such a strong,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it just feels like he probably has a decent amount of jack X that might consider calling another bet. Like he might have queen jack, which kind of sucks. He's got some 9X, like hands like 9, 10, jack 10,
I think your
king jack.
optimal bets, I think your optimal bet size here is 14 and 15 because
So-
that's your 2E. for the
Yeah, that'll
river.
set it to 45, and then it's basically
Yeah.
45 on the river.
Yeah, and then and then depending on the card, you may not want to go 45. You may not want to bet the river.
Yeah,
Obviously, you're gonna bet a club, you're gonna bet a 10.
yeah.
But
I'm
there
wondering.
are hands you're not, there are cards you're not gonna bet.
Yeah, I'm not
But if
sure
you
what
bet,
side. I like that sizing, Scotty. I'm not sure what size I actually end up using here. So a smidge over. And I think I did this, Scotty, because now by doing this, it's going to make my river jam just a smidge under pot,
yeah,
which,
that's great.
yeah, it makes it like a little bit harder for a hand, maybe like ace jack, if we get like a deuce river here to find the fold button, or a hand like queen 10 to find the fold button.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus you get value from his ace high flush draw that if the flush breaks out on the river, you weren't gonna get it money from,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I just meant that a bet of 5 to 10
Yeah.
wasn't gonna do it. You had to be, around 5.
yeah,
So,
I think, yeah,
This is great.
okay. And then he does this,
Okay,
and like I'm getting the money in.
yeah, absolutely. And if he has the
And
straight, he has the straight. Now this happens.
yeah, I mean,
Great.
and like I was really happy. I went back and like reviewed this. I do remember this part because I reviewed this a little bit because I was kind of like in game. I was just like I don't want to say I autopiloted the turn call, but I didn't think about it too much. I was like, this is just too good. But
Yeah.
when I went back and looked at it and like just ran the equities on it, versus his 2 pair holdings here, like our hand is just so good. I mean, just so that guys, sometimes you might not think about this, but like when he has this queen 9 here on the turn, like a jack is also an out for us, because we can counterfeit
point.
his, which is something that like in game I didn't think of because I was like kind of surprised at how high our equity was versus his exact hand. And so then I had to kind of think about like why. And the jack is 3 more outs. So that's
5
like,
is- 5
6.
zeros.
Yeah.
No, the 5 is not
It
because
looks like you have,
Oh, it's
looks
a
like
worse
you
2 pair, you're right.
outs.
the 5 isn't, but the jack is, which is kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
What
So,
do you remember what the number was? Was it like in the 40s?
I don't remember off the hand. Well, I mean, I think we can see the,
Here you can,
so I think we had 41% here.
yeah.
And so
Yeah,
I think to make this call, we can look and see that too. We only needed 32% to make the
Yeah.
call.
No brainer.
So yeah.
You
Um,
have, I think you have 18 outs.
9 clubs, 3 tens is 12, 3 jacks is 15, and then 3 kings. So 18. Yep.
Not very often you have 18 outs, is there?
Yeah. And so, good. I think the turn was where I was most interested there.
Yeah.
So I'll stop sharing on that one.
Anybody? Okay, go ahead. I'll
right.
go after you.
Oh,
I'll pick one.
Okay.
No, Mike, you go. I'll go next.
Yep. We got a poster over there in the cutoff. There's some deepish stacks here at this table. I go 3.5 here. I know there's some philosophy that says just go pot, but when I'm in early position and the poster is still to act, I would use the smaller sizing, kind of the theory a lot that you see with GTO raise sizes being smaller in earlier positions and larger in later positions, but that's why I go 3.5 instead of 4.5. three bet and a flat from the poster. And here we are. And again, we are 150 effective against the three better. I think, does this have potential as a four bet bluff, or do we just want to call and play multi-way with a nutty type?
I hate four bet.
You hate four betting?
Villain nine is stronger than he needs to. I hate for bluffing here because villain nine is stronger than he needs to be. You know, for just the regular normal three bet. Because you inflated it. And however, villain three plays. You know, when he plays bad enough to call a bet and a raise, you don't know that he's gonna fold to a four with his shitty hand that beats you. That's the problem. Some of his hands that he should have folded. And you want to try to outplay that person out of position. Because your edge over him is probably knowing when to fold more than it is being able to push him off a hand.
Do we
So
fold?
I think I like folding better than calling. Unless I like know something weird about these guys. And I think I would rank it folding and four betting kind of like even, and calling my least favorite option.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure what to do. I wound up calling, getting almost 4
Yeah.
to 1, and pretty deep against villain 9. So there's like some considerable implied odds that we're getting here. And I'm just assuming that villain 3 was going to be somewhat fishy-ish. So maybe he makes some mistakes. So I wound up calling.
Yeah,
You're getting more than enough. You're getting more than enough odds to flush mine.
I just, for what it's worth, I would have called that all day long. We're ending the action. I would go ahead and call.
Yeah,
Now, it's
that's
gonna be
a
hard to
good
get
point
them-
too. Ending the action is definitely a good point.
It's gonna be hard
And,
to, you have equity realization problems, but it's still like.
So we did call.
Also, we have a deeper stack. We have 150 BB effective stack,
Yeah.
which is a great thing to.
Yep.
So I think we just are always checking here, regardless of our holdings, checking range. And it checks through. Okay. Yay? Question mark?
No,
No, I-
not yay, not yay at all.
I think you have to bet out here.
No,
No.
might be
Oh,
the check
no.
and
I don't
pray
think
for
we
the
wanna
check
bet.
back from the three better.
Yeah.
This is
we
a
definitely-
fabulous, this is a fabulous check call. And
We check
the
here.
reason the card is good is that if you make your flush, now it is possible for his ace king to call you. So now you can get some money against that range. And every so often, your ace wins when it goes check, 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 check. So this is,
We
like-
get a B75, B60 maybe, B66 here, 2/3.
Yep.
Fold. And
Yep.
now that we got this ace, now we just are going to call
100% call, 100% call.
it. If that was, say, what, a blank, say like a deuce of hearts or something, could we ever consider just getting it in at some point, like bluffing?
Yeah, you could also bet out on the deuce of diamonds.
But I want to, because of that ace here, we do call.
Yeah.
And we do not get there.
I get there.
We check. Face pot size. We go to our bluff catching
Mostly fold.
chart.
Mostly fold.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like an easy fold, but I didn't know if anybody else had any.
No,
Any-
DB, like the ace is
No,
quite
that's
good for them when they check and then like they could conceivably have a lot of ace X.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't beat any of that value. Have we induced? Yeah, a little bit. We've checked every street. Is this player capable? I don't know. But I know the bet sizes that they have used here are pretty big. What was it? B70 on the turn and then pot on the river.
Yep.
Those are big
Yeah.
bet sizes, pushes you more towards fold. We
He
block
bet it, he,
some of the
he bet into
best.
2 players.
Yeah, that's multi-way. We're
Right,
blocking the
multi-way.
most obvious, like having the ace of clubs blocks the most obvious bluffing card.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's not true though. I think our clubs are not a problem here because the ace of clubs is not a bluff card. They were out of his hand, and the 5 of cards is not a very relevant. You know, we don't block things like the that he might have done this with. You know, the fact that we have the ace of clubs doesn't matter since the ace is the bluff.
Yeah, but I think this is fold, Mike. I think if you fold here, it is just
Yeah,
fine.
it's still a fold.
Yeah, I thought so. I just wanted to make sure, kind of checking it out. He did have jacks.
Oh,
See what
man.
the other guy had, king 8 off. So that was nice. Yeah, so that just wanted to just kind of do a quick line check there, like the flop and the turn and the river. This is a simple one maybe, and see if we like it, if we hate it. I'm not sure what we do here. So we got 9 raise, 3 bet, small blind. Kind of loose configuration, so I think we call here for the most part. Probably solver has some folding if you want.
I don't think so against small blind.
No?
No, I think it's pretty, I can't remember. I think like, doesn't like tens jam and like ace queen off here at 100 bigs, just like jam in
Yeah.
theory. Like I feel like it's been a
And
while since.
he's also using the smaller size of the race, so I think it's a call, at least.
Yeah, here's a bigger size raise, which they start to drop with 9s. But yeah, given it that was only 9 big blinds. But yeah, it seems like a normal call.
No, hang on. Mike, did you have the GTO chart? Because we were looking at the big blind node there.
Oh, we were?
Yeah, it was like mega tight.
No, no.
Right, now you're looking at the button call range.
Yeah.
Slide
Yeah,
over.
you need to press fold to BB node.
Yeah, this is where you want.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yep, you're right. Yep, good call. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so clear call. Even some re-raising. Okay. So he c-bets B3, B33. We can call for one in this configuration.
You can also just fold right now. You can fold.
Yeah.
I think you could fold, yeah.
You can do
I
either
I
one.
think it's more like break even, and against live opponent, not the GTO player. It's just probably
Yeah.
fold and forget.
Yeah, lots of hands on this guy. We've played for 146 hands. Pretty good, decent player. 3 bets at a decent clip. Has a pretty decent aggression factor and c-bets quite a bit. Does that change anything?
I think the sample is not big enough for flop c-bet and 3-bet pot. It's just can be variance. Maybe he had all the good hands all the time. And by the way, he had pre-flop stats with IP 14 and pre-flop raise 12. So I think he's very nitty pre-flop. So I would assume that his pre-flop range 3-bet is also very tight. So it's just more reasons to fold pre-flop, fold on the flop.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Good points. I decided to call, and again, I'm like with you guys. I'm like, what do we, got kind of on the fence there with it. I did take into consideration that he has had, some decent aggression factor. He's been fairly decent, so I'm giving him credit for more c-bets than maybe somebody who's truly nitty, but he checks to us here. typically I would just check back here. However, I was considering trying to deny some equity on some of his bluff type hands. Queen, jack, king, queen. Start turning nines into a bluff against 10x. So I did. This is where I was like, should I be doing this? And I was going to follow up on the river, assuming something kind of, depending on what we see, but either that or get a free river. Do we hate this?
I think this
Um,
is fine. I think usually solver size here would be around
Smaller?
B33. But
Yeah.
it does use this bet pattern.
It seems like the smaller pocket pair might be a little bit better. Like, I mean, I guess it's hard for me to see nines as having a ton of showdown value, but like they have more showdown value than say sixes or fives, you know?
I don't think I'm facing the smaller pocket pairs though. I feel like that's pretty rare to see a 3-bet from like 7.
No, I'm saying for you to turn into a bluff. Like I think the smaller pocket pairs for you become very viable as far as having your like, and you're saying you wouldn't have called with like sixes, let's say.
Me?
Yeah.
I think we call the sixes at the same frequency as nines, probably.
Yeah, I think like the low, because I think that in this spot, you might see these low pocket pairs become bluffs because they unblock his folds with things that have quite a bit of equity against you, like queen, jack, king, queen, king, jack, like those types of hands. That he would potentially have.
Yeah.
And so you don't mind those hands with quite a bit of equity folding against you. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay, so let me make an argument against this bet. This is just a simplified John little flow chart. This this hand is marginally made. And if you want to turn a marginally made hand into a bluff, you can, but you're not bluffing enough. It's not big enough to be a bluff. And it costs you money the other way. Now you see it as setting a price for the river. It's like he's going to check behind the hand. You're not going to bluff the river. You make that argument, but that cuts out his bluffs. And that is the best way to play poker, although sometimes it's a way. So that's my argument. Don't know if it's right.
Okay. Yeah. So we kind of hate it. We got this. So that made it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show us the bluff.
I'll-
Interesting life choice he's making there. I mean, he's only folding out worse. I don't know if I make that, maybe protection. I don't know if I'd make that play on his part.
Yeah. I was questioning it a little bit too once I saw it.
It's a strange. It seems like he's trying to protect himself from the river bluff. It's like the only.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to be
reason-
in control. They don't like
I think.
giving up control, giving up the betting lead, and then they feel uncomfortable and make interesting plays.
If we have ace jack here, do we value bet now?
Are you unblocking or blocking his flush draw now that we have the cheat sheet seeing his hand?
So let's say we have ace jack of, let's say, spades.
Well, I think I think it's a spot for the checklist. I would think that your ace jack of spades has now been turned into a pure bluff catcher.
Wait,
And
are we
then-
saying, hang on, let me get the node right on this ace jack of spades. Are we saying, Mike, if they check like the line is here and it's on us on turn, we have ace jack of spades,
Yeah.
are we betting? That's the question, right?
Yeah. Do we make this bet?
With ace jack of spades.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when we have ace jack of spades and we see this, Because I think this is reasonable, right?
Larry, I'll let you go before I have some things to say, but I know you were talking, I just want to make sure, Larry, that we were talking about the right note.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, I think this hand now becomes, I mean, so what's he repping when he check shoves here? We have top pair. He's repping he's repping two pair plus. And so then it becomes, I think our hand becomes a bluff catcher. It's a really good bluff catcher, but I don't think we're beating value. And then I think we search for natural bluffs. And we look at our pot odds. So like, let's just give him the shove. So our pot odds are what, 39%? Is that what I see?
35, I
35.
think.
35%. So we have to be right 35% of the time. That's doable here. Is this some kind of weird semi bluff more than 35% of the time? That becomes hard to find. But we could see natural bluffs, right? We could see straights that are now available. And we could see that straight draws that are available. And we could see flush draws, mostly flush draws that are available. We're unblocking the flush draws. He could do this with like ace 8 of hearts. That would be interesting. Ace 5 of hearts would be interesting. I think we're pretty indifferent, but generally I think in this configuration where we know this is an active player, I think we probably call off given the pot odds.
So I think that you should check ace jack of spades in this spot.
Yeah.
And here's why, because I say this spot kind of with some other guys where you are out of position as the 3-bet aggressor. And so you bet, you oftentimes range bet a lot in these particular instances with small sizing, you get called. On turn, you thereby have to do like a lot of checking. And we were messing around with a couple of spots and it seemed pretty safe actually to just like range check a lot of turns, because if the guy takes ace jack here behind you and bets, well, you have like all options at your disposal and you can play check call, or check jam on river and, you know, be pretty good. And the other side of this, Mike, is it's if you bet ace jack here, like what does your check range look like? And that is kind of like the thing that we noticed with as the out of position 3-better is if the guy checks in your position here, like do a lot of players check ace jack? I don't think they do. And so then you get to the river and you've got a whole complement of hands here and you have pretty easy choice because like you don't think that guys checked enough top pair. So now you can value bet with like a B66 sizing, try to get called by like second pairs, under pairs to the ace. And then you can bet just massive with your bluffs and the guy doesn't have enough ace X or good hands to really call you. So I think that that's why I would think about checking here with your ace jack.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
if you think you can like, yeah, that's what I think.
Cool.
Okay. All right, one more hand for me, gentlemen, and then I'm off to work, but I appreciate you letting me jump in.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna show a hand here. Is that okay?
Go for it.
All right.
John, when
Yeah,
when you said one
welcome
more
to the
hand, John,
group.
did you mean you had a hand, John, that you're ready to go that we should do? Or did you mean you'll stick around for one more of Larry's hands?
Oh, I'm gonna just watch one more hand and then
Oh,
I'm
okay,
off to
great.
work.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
You play mostly live, right, Sean?
I'm mostly live, yeah. So most of my hands are just, you know, what I've written down.
Okay, so there's a tool called Easy Replayer. You can Google it, and it is a tool for putting in live hands for a replayer, so that you can replay them. You're more than welcome to input one of your live hands into
Okay,
Easy
what-
Replayer, and in the next couple weeks, whenever you want.
Can you type that in the chat for me?
Yeah, sure.
I got
do
it.
Easy play,
Okay, thanks.
easy, EasyReplayer.com. Okay, I will check that out and try to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, no worries. So, I got an interesting spot, I think. Failed bluff, and this is mostly about. So, we are 100 big blinds effective. I think this is mostly a flat for me, and this big size is interesting. What do you guys think? Do you ever find 3 bets here with this combo?
Yes.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with just calling.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
earlier position, the open, the more calling you're gonna get. Because, you know, he should have a tighter range, so I'm perfectly happy with this. I think if you saw this as like a cutoff open, then you are more inclined to go to the
Yeah.
3-bet route, but even still, you may be willing to, I don't know if you know that big blind here is a fish, but he's got a really big stack. You've got a really big stack. You get to play in position. I think that there's some other thought processes that we can use here to come to call.
Yeah, good point.
And I'm not
I would like
positive.
to
Oh, go on.
I would like to say that it's important to think about players on the blinds, because if they really squeeze happy guys who will 3-bet a lot if they see raise and call, then you probably should 3-bet by yourself. But if they don't 3-bet much, I think it's okay play.
Yeah, Barry, and you have a really good point. If we're aware that we have very active, aggressive players behind, who understand the value of squeezing. And there's certainly some players that have showed up in this pool recently who are very good at squeezing. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. This time we did get a call from big blind. We get this flop. What are you guys doing here?
Check.
Yeah, I think I should. Get a very nice turn. He bets out, bets a big size, right? Get a fold. What do you guys, big bet multi-way? What are you guys
Call.
doing here?
Call.
Just call, yeah.
I would call. I'd be a lot more inclined to raise if I had a diamond, but in this case, I think calling is really the best option.
Yeah, I think calling is okay. We're in position, so we have significant implied odds, especially this deep. We're not really getting direct odds here, but I think our implied odds allow us to call.
Yeah, I know everybody wanted to check flop, but like this hand has 2 overs. I know we kind of want to block continues with spades or diamonds, but this is a pretty bad hand in our range, but it probably has as much equity as a bluff as anything else that we're going to have that's not diamonds. And we don't just want to have spades and diamonds in our bluff range. This has no showdown value.
Yeah, true.
And like,
I remember,
and the king, if we bet here, the king becomes a much better card for us than it does this way, I think.
That's value. I could see a bet here. I kind of have calmed down, I guess is the word, or played more passively in multi-way pots.
Yeah.
Recently, and I think it's because a lot of it has to do with this group. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the direction I've gone, but I could see,
But the
a
other
flop
side of it
here.
is if we bet, like, we don't have to bet big here. Like, we're talking about, we could bet like 3 or 4 bigs. And
Yeah.
then,
See what goes from there.
and we don't care. Like, if we get check raised, that's like, okay, all right, thanks. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's valid. I think
I
in
remember
theory, our bet would
correctly,
be
Solver loves to, not loves, but he occasionally bets queen high and jack high on low boards like this. And I like the small bet here because we actually can continue our aggression on a lot of different turns, like 9, ace king gives us gut shot or an open-ended, and we can continue pressure with bets. And queen and jack gives us top pair, which is good. And eight, by the way, too, gives us gut shot.
Yeah, I think you guys have
So
good points about betting. I mean, we can,
sometimes I think it's reasonable to bet here, even in two players.
yeah, I think that, I mean, we're leveraging the power position, right? I mean, this is part of the reason that this isn't our calling range on button. It's because we're guaranteed position. And so, yeah, I can see that. I can totally see like a 4 big bet. Then we get here, big bet, we're calling, kind of, I think we agree. Now, here's really the question. The 6 comes, right? We have no showdown. He checks. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna ask myself, what is the best hand I think this player has now? What is the best hand I think this player has?
I think a likely combo here would be like Queen
Jack, and
Jack.
king.
I'm sorry, I would say a bad king, like king bad kicker or like a 10, queen 10. Sorry,
Or-
Scotty, what were you saying?
Maybe like an
I was
ace.
with you. I
I'm
think he has
confused. The
king,
best hand
jack,
you
and
can
king,
have here
queen.
is quads. Is that what you're, that's not
No.
what you're asking though.
He could have quads, I suppose, but I
Ace
think
ten
it's
of
pretty,
diamonds.
I think it's pretty disciplined player that's gonna check quads on this river. And if they check quads in this river, well, they're gonna raise our river bet here.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of thinking like the best hand they have is like a king X hand, like king jack. Does king 10 check back? I don't know.
It can. King ten can check back because he's in the same way as a king, king 10 can check back for the same reason as king jack can. King jack is the best hand all the time unless you have a 6. Right, and that's the same for king 10.
So if we're gonna try to make king jack or a king X fold, I think we gotta go pretty big,
What size?
Gotta
would you
go.
use?
40, 45 bigs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did overbet. But not, I need to get bigger. I'm getting there, guys. It's a long
That's still,
journey.
that's still pretty big. All right,
Yeah, I need to go bigger here, 40, 45, but he was trapping. But I think the main question was what's our bluff size here? And so I probably should go bigger, like. So B150 is around 45. That sounds all right. Is your default here in this situation? A B200 or a B150, guys?
My default. My default is like, I just wanna check and like give up. I think
Yeah.
like, you know, like I think having the B150 size with queen high in this spot, I don't think that guys, at least I'll say I don't find that naturally, but I think that's what we have to do if we want to fold the hand that we think he has most frequently, which is some sort of king X hand.
Yeah, so what we're saying is, well, so your process here was 2 steps, right? What's the best hand that he checks out of position on river? 1. 2. What sizing do we bet to rep 2 pair plus trips, full house to get him to fold?
I mean,
And
Yeah.
May I add a little bit to the story? I think I don't like his bet on the turn, and the reason is the king is our not like our card, but king is a better card for the preflop raiser and sometimes for the button, but not for the big blind. And he suddenly makes a very big bet into the king, which makes me think that it's a recreational player and not really good player. And his range composition would be different, and his calling tendencies would be different. I think most of the time we're gonna see some kind of weak king here, which would call our bluff on the river. Because ordinary, the good player, which understand ranges well enough, in my opinion, I'm not sure, but I think most of the time on the king, they either would play check call with hands like king jack, or check raise with hand like sixes, trays, because king is not really their card. And they, most of their kings, it's like maybe suited kings like king 9, king 8, maybe king 7, but it's not very much in multi-way pots. Ace king, king queen often will squeeze here, so it's kind of like middling kings.
Okay.
And some pairs like king 10 and sets and a lot of draws. So I think it's a recreational player who got his king or got his draw, and draw he will fold, and king he will always call.
So I
Or
think you've
maybe
got some good points there,
some
Varian.
slow
I would
plays.
say that the one part that I think might be different is that I think there is a sizing threshold where a good player is gonna fold a king. And really my question is, where is that threshold around?
Yes, for
It
sure.
could be a shove, could be, it could be this size, it could be 50 bigs. But there is a threshold, and you have to decide if you want to be putting yourself in that situation, if you think it's profitable on the long term, if you do this, if you make this play 100 times. So my question then becomes, what is that sizing if we choose to make that play? I don't think you have to make this play every time, but I think that you certainly have the opportunity to bluff here if you choose. Certainly there's gonna be some traps here. That's part of the game, but there is threshold where you're gonna get a single top pair king to fold.
I think
For sure.
maybe. I think
I
maybe
think what- I think the-
40 big blinds might do it.
I think the person who doesn't fold to who doesn't fold to 60, doesn't fold to all in. So I think they're inelastic between 60 and all in.
Yeah, I think you have a good point. That's a good point.
Although that I don't know.
Now, you don't have to be a player that makes this play. You don't have to do that. I'm just, I'm in the process of deciding if I want to make that play. So I'm kind of testing different sizes, and that's why I brought it to the group. Now, he just happened to have a hand which is gonna call this size, right? But I think I wonder if he's checking that back because he's checking it out of position with the board players, the board pairs. And he's saying to himself, well, I'm gonna call this size with my two pair, but I'm not gonna call a shove. Because the button player does have some element of his range, some part of his range, which is now voted up. So, yeah, the question becomes, where are the thresholds? And it's a dark art figuring out what those thresholds are.
But
So,
now let's think about your hand though for a second. Because you're trying to rep a 6 or pocket tens or king 6. You never have king 6 here, given the action. You're 6, so you had to check behind a 6 on the flop. And then call the big bet with a 6 on the turn with third pair, do you? How believable is the range you're repping?
yeah, good point. I'm really repping trapping set. I'm repping a set of tens.
Yeah.
Or I don't have kings. I'm repping a set of tens, and also there are busted FDs which are available here.
Yeah.
So this might
Yep.
be like 50 bigs, a shove, or check back.
You're upping a tens, quads, or a good king kicker that missed the flush draw on the flop.
And with that, with those things that you're repping, it has to be pocket tens, pocket sixes, or pocket threes. That shows, not only shows not to bet the flop, it shows not to raise the turn.
I'm repping a very thin range here.
That's,
And he's, he's a good player. He's a big stack, probably because he's a good player. And he understood. So he put this hand in his class of check call, a reasonable size. And he felt the overbet, which is not used in this pool very often, was a reasonable size.
yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, great,
All
thanks.
right.
All right,
Um,
gentlemen,
next-
I'm out of here. Thank you very much for allowing me to participate, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah.
Next week,
See you, John. Next week, nine
Thanks, John.
15. And Mike, next week, I won't be able to I'll be able to start the meeting and everything, but I won't be able to do it. So if you could bring hands for next week, that'd be great. For next Monday.
Awesome. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Okay.
well,
Bye, John.
So you're not around on Monday or Tuesday next week?
Let me take a look.
Me?
No, I was talking to Scotty.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
all right, we'll see you guys later.
All right,
Okay,
John.
see you next week.
I'll be around all of Tuesday and I'll be around for the second half of Monday.
Okay, do you want me to kick it off? Oh, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, peoples.